Loki was never the villain you thought he was. What is the difference between a king and a tyrant, a savior and a conqueror? We are taught to believe that one brings freedom and the other brings chains. But what if the chains were already there, invisible and unbreakable, long before the conqueror ever arrived? What if the tyrant wasn't trying to enslave you, but was trying to show you that you were already living in a prison? For over a decade, we knew Loki as the god of mischief, the jealous brother, the would-be king, the villain who unleashed an alien army on New York City. We saw him as a symbol of selfish ambition and a lust for power. But what if that was only the first chapter of a much more complicated story? What if his obsession with thrones and destiny wasn't born from simple greed, but from a terrifyingly accurate understanding of the cosmos? The story of the hero is always simple. The story of the villain, however, is often the truth in disguise. Today, we're going to put the God of Mischief on trial, and you, the audience, will be the jury. But be warned, by the end, you might find yourself questioning who the real villain ever was. Before we rewrite history, do your future self a favor by liking this video and subscribing. You'll want to see how this story ends. The Prince of Lies, forged by a lie. To understand Loki's quest for power, we must first understand the lie that his entire life was built upon. He was raised as a prince of Asgard, the silver-tongued son, forever walking in the shadow of his golden brother, Thor. He believed his destiny was to be a king. His ambition was not seen as a flaw. It was his birthright. Then the floor falls out from under him. He discovers the truth. He is not the son of Odin, but the abandoned offspring of a frost giant, the sworn enemy of his people. He is a monster from a fairy tale, taken as a political trophy. In that single moment, his past, his identity, and his future were all revealed to be a lie, orchestrated by the very man he called father. Odin, the All-Father, the symbol of order and justice, was the architect of his pain. Think about the psychological devastation. His entire life was a performance, and he was the only one who didn't have the script. Is it any wonder his first true act of rebellion was to seize the throne of Asgard? It wasn't just a grab for power, it was a desperate attempt to prove that he, the stolen monster, was more worthy than the Golden Sun. His attack on New York wasn't just a conquest, it was a scream for validation on a stage so grand that the entire universe, including his father, would be forced to watch. He wasn't born a villain. He was forged into one by the hypocrisy of the so-called good guys. The prophet of a caged universe. For years, we believed Loki's driving force was his desire for a glorious purpose. We saw it as arrogance, but the Loki series revealed a horrifying truth. He wasn't arrogant, he was right. There was a pre-written path, but it was far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Enter the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. A cosmic bureaucracy that acts as the gardeners of history, pruning any person or timeline that deviates from their sacred path. They are the ultimate enemy of free will. And what do they show him? They show him his entire life played out on a screen. His rise, his fall, his moments of betrayal, his brief flashes of redemption, and even his death at the hands of Thanos. It was all preordained. His villainy wasn't a choice, it was a role assigned to him. This is the moment the entire narrative flips. Who is the greater villain? The god of mischief who sought to rule one planet, or the cosmic fascists who eliminate trillions of souls across infinite timelines just to maintain a single controlled narrative? The TVA represents the ultimate tyranny, the tyranny of a story already written. Suddenly, Loki's lifelong obsession with control makes perfect sense. His quest for a throne wasn't an attempt to take away freedom. It was a desperate rebellion against the revelation that free will was never real to begin with. He wanted to be the one holding the pen, to finally write his own story, only to discover that the ink was dry and the pages were already full. The impossible choice and the true throne. Loki's journey takes him to the man behind the curtain, he who remains, the creator of the TVA. And here he presents Loki with the universe's most cruel paradox. He explains that the sacred timeline, this prison of destiny, was created for one reason: to prevent a multiversal war against his own infinitely more dangerous variants, the Kangs. He offers Loki a choice. He can kill him, destroy the TVA, and unleash infinite timelines, granting everyone true free will, but at the cost of an apocalyptic war that would destroy everything. Or he could take his place, becoming the next lonely manager of the timeline, a silent jailer preserving a fragile peace. This is the ultimate test. The man who craved freedom above all else is shown the true price of it: total chaos. The man who craved a throne is offered one, but it is not a throne of power. It is a throne of unbearable responsibility. And what does he do? In his final defining moments, Loki, the god of mischief, makes the most noble choice of all. He doesn't seize power for himself. He takes on the burden for everyone else. He walks to the heart of time, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian. He breaks the loom, not out of malice, but to weave the chaotic timelines together with his own life force. He becomes Yggdrasil, the world tree. The throne he finally takes is a lonely, silent seat at the center of existence, holding it all together so that everyone else can have the one thing he was always denied: a choice. The god of stories. We started with a villain who wanted to make humanity kneel. We ended with a god holding the multiverse together so humanity could have the freedom to stand. Loki's glorious purpose was never the crown he thought he wanted. It was the sacrifice he was always destined to make. He didn't want to rule the world. He wanted to matter in a universe that told him he was nothing more than a discarded monster and a pawn in a pre-written story. His entire arc was a battle, not for power, but for relevance. He was the god of mischief, but his greatest trick was a lifetime of misdirection, making us believe he was the villain while the true cages, destiny, fate, and cosmic order, were being built all around us. So, was Loki a villain, or was he the only person who understood the nature of his cage so intimately that he was the only one capable of breaking it? Perhaps his real title was never the god of mischief, but the god of stories, who finally chose to write a better one for all of us, at the cost of his own.